Hey everybody, it is Crime Cask coming at you on Swamp Justice Radio. We're also airing on 97.7 WVFF, Veterans for Freedom Radio, the Truth in Broadcasting Corporation. I don't know what it is. I just like saying that. I got my radio voice on. So today we've got Callie Lyons, journalist, author. We've got her back. We're going to be talking about Alex Murdaugh and the Alex Murdaugh trial. We're going to go through a lot of different. We're going to go through a lot of different videos. Hold on, let me get rid of this song. We're going to go through a lot of different videos, starting from the police, and the people who were there. The first responders who were there on the ground, listening to them talk, and we'll kind of go through that and what we think on it and our opinions on it, and maybe we have some information we'll share with you on it. Blanca Simpson, some of the interviews that she did, we're going to go through some of those. We're going to talk about Becky Hill. I mean, we're going through the whole thing. We're going to talk about Becky Hill. We're going to have Eric Bland. We're going to be talking about Rogan Gibson, Mark Tinsley. And then if we have time, which I really hope we do, we're going to talk about a bombshell article that was posted this morning at crimeandcast.com on text and emails raising questions about preferential treatment in media access. And it's been a hot button, and it goes back to this Parker and the 392 case, and of course, goes back to who? Alex Murdaugh and the Murdaughs. Crazy. So let us bring her on. Callie Lyons, are you getting ready for? You got a big storm coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of snow, I guess. It's real cold.
Well, they said that here in South Carolina. Low country, I don't think is going to get anything but rain. The Midlands and upstate, they might get some ice, but I think it's moving north.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Ohio's going to get hit. I think Virginia's going to get destroyed.
We always get hit.
You're Ohio.
Right, exactly.
I never know. But anytime I meet somebody from Ohio, I'm like, what part of Ohio are you from? Because, you got the north, the south, the east, and west. And to me, it's one state, but you're four states. Right? If you're from the South, you are completely different from the North, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Somebody from Toledo talks to somebody from Southern Ohio. Yeah. It's night and day. It's like Kansas City and St. Louis.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. I'm on Ohio's sunny southern shore.
I didn't know the sun shined in Ohio, honestly.
It is today. So far. For now.
Then you get the people in Eastern Ohio, which you're right next to Pennsylvania. I mean, you're like East Coast, and then you go more towards Indiana, and you're like in the Midwest. So I always say Ohio's a little bit crazy of a state based off of just where the hell you are.
Yes, it really is. But now don't hold this against me. I'm actually from Kansas.
Well, I used to live in Kansas.
Did you?
Yeah. In fact, I lived in the same town that Manny Matney grew up in.
Oh, yeah, that's the other Kansas.
Oh, you lived in Western Kansas?
Yeah, I'm from Dodge City.
Oh, Dodge City.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, you're a gunslinger at heart, huh?
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Yeah. That is Western Kansas. There's nothing out there.
It really isn't nothing at all.
Nothing. That old song, "Nothing from Nothing is Nothing."
Mm-hmm.
That's Kansas, and there's nothing until you go over the top of the mountains, and then you get to Denver.
Yeah,
it's almost like once you pass Wichita, which I love Wichita. I think Wichita is a fun little town. Spent a lot of time in Wichita. There's nothing past Wichita.
Not really.
There was one little town on the very edge near Colorado, and I remember having an account out there. I think I went out there one time. I mean, it's like an act of God to get out there. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Kansas or Ohio or the storms. We're here to talk about everybody's favorite subject, Mr. Alec. What do you call him? Alec? Alex?
Well, I guess I call him different things. It's Alex, basically, but that's probably not correct.
According to him, it's Alex Murdaugh. They call it the Low Country. Something or other. I don't know. So let's start out with, we're going to look at some video that we have from the first responders. I'm going to get a hold of this, and let's go to the first one. I had it teed up here.
I guess he is kind of everyone's favorite villain.
So this is I think his name is Green. He was the first guy there, if you remember. We'll watch it here in a second. Here we go.
A few minutes that I'm there, so I know I've got deputies that are coming. So I'm talking to Alex, getting an idea of, more or less locking him into a initial, this is what happened. The very first time I go on scene on any crime scene, you want to talk to somebody and get their first initial statements of, this is what I did, this is what I came up on, because that locks them into that statement.
When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
Because then if they change it, an hour, a day, a week down the road, why'd you change it?
I'm going to stop it there for a second, because in my opinion, why'd you change it? I mean, he just rolled up on a man who had just seen his son's brain laying on the ground and his wife face down, and they're dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would remember what I would have told the guy.
No. Would any normal person? I wouldn't think so.
So for the police to say, well, we're using this as a matter of fact, and if you try to wiggle out of that, then, you're lying. He's going to go on to say something about that here.
It's easy to remember the truth. It's a lot harder to remember lies. So
apparently he's never gone through any trauma in his life.
Yeah. I mean, I do think generally it is easier to remember the truth, but who knows what's going to come out of your mouth.
During those traumatic times.
Doing that, and I've got other deputies, and you can see on my body camera, as soon as other deputies get there, I'm like, hey, make sure this happens, make sure this happens. We need to get crime scene tape up, get a crime scene log started. I even told one of them, don't even let fire rescue put sheets on the bodies. We don't want to contaminate anything. You can hear it.
But they did put sheets on bodies.
On my body camera, me telling where the deputy's at. Now, it still happened, but those are the thoughts running through my mind. And that just comes, like you were saying earlier, from experience. It's not like I've been doing this as long as him, but I've been doing it long enough to know that there are certain things you don't do on a crime scene that don't, if it doesn't need to be touched, you don't touch it. Observe everything, touch as little as possible. So,
well, obviously the defense tactic didn't work, because we wouldn't be, Alex Murdaugh could not be in jail right now.
Look at the smiles on that guy's face on the right.
Prison. But when you heard this, were there any points to it that you went, oh, yeah, we could have done that in 2020, and if, hindsight? Yeah, we could have done, crime scene stuff. Was there anything that you look back now? Or do you still look at it and say, no, this is exactly where we needed to be when we were there?
We learn every day. We evolve every day. We change policies every day.
They do.
We might change a tactic after going to one scene. We might not change that tactic again for another 100 scenes. So to say that we didn't learn from a mistake, sure. Were there a lot of things that they made out to be mistakes that were not? 100%. And I'm going to throw a few of them at you, because it's time that everybody gets to hear the truth. But
you're going to talk about the booties, aren't you?
I will start with the booties. So let's start with the booties. That was a big, huge deal. And even though they asked me and they asked crime scene.
What do you got about the crime scene?
Wow. Well, notice in that clip of the body cam, to go back to Daniel Green, or I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the dogs?
No.
Not at all. But you hear the dogs on the 911 call. As soon as other officers arrive, you hear the dogs. What does that mean?
I'm just going to ask you that same question.
I don't know. I mean,
you got an opinion, right?
Well, it makes me wonder, do they know him?
Daniel Green?
Yeah, why are they quiet then? That makes no sense to me. The rest of the time you hear the dogs, but not then. Well, maybe he's got noise cancellation on his body cam. It's a joke. I doubt it.
Let's see what he's got to say about the booties.
And said, should they have had on booties? Is it not common practice or protocol, I think is how they put it, to wear booties?
Did you notice any protective covering on their feet?
No, sir.
And I call them booties. What do you call them?
Shoe cots or booties.
What?
Shoe cots or booties.
Oh, booties, okay. And is that, what if anything is, under the procedures you understand, is the purpose of those?
It's to keep your shoes from contaminating the scene with any residue that may be on them. And secondly, also not to allow the imprint pattern from your footwear to contaminate the scene.
Okay.
That's true, because there was footprints everywhere, and it would have been nice to have those separated, or at least photographed before they started trampling all over the place. I mean, come on, this is the Colleton County Sheriff's Department. This isn't, I don't know.
And they're outside.
New York City detectives dealing with these kind of things every day. And they were outside, and it started to rain, which means their footprints would have been even more into that, that low country, I call it sand kind of almost.
Yeah.
Is that procedure that you teach? Is that procedure that's accepted? Is that, what is that?
It's standard operating procedure.
Standard operating procedure.
SOP. Apparently not in Colleton County. That must have been one of the days they changed their policy. We change it daily. Really?
I don't know how many murders
Around
they
the world.
have in Colleton County.
How many?
Not many. I don't know how many murders they have in Colleton County. I don't know. That's probably something I should have looked up in preparation, but I don't think they do this every day.
Body language tells a lot. Look at Wilson and Waters, and everybody's got their head down. Who's the guy behind Wilson? Is that Gent?
I don't know. I cannot tell.
But they all got their head down. They're reading. They're not even paying attention.
It should be, yes.
Okay.
So I pose a question to you. Booties are made out of paper or a paper-like material. And the purpose of putting on a bootie would be to not introduce any type of contaminant into a scene or to remove evidence out of a scene. So let's talk.
And to not put your footprint or the bottom of your boot or shoe into the sand.
About the feed room. This is where they're saying that we should have, by protocol, worn booties. What was in the doorway of the feed room? Paul. What was all around Paul? And this isn't something that we're assuming. We see it on Daniel's body cam. We see it with ourselves. Alex testified to it. All around Paul is water and blood and body parts and everything else. All types of contaminants. Standing water and blood. There's only one way in the feed room and one way out. And all of those contaminants are all over the front of that feed room.
Now, I don't know what their policy is, but I know they called SLED pretty early on. But I thought the policy was, once you call SLED, especially at a murder scene, once you call SLED, you stop everything until SLED arrives. then they take the direction. Do this, do that, do this, do that. They just kept going. Call SLED. All right, we'll just keep going. Well, if SLED, you're calling SLED to take over the investigation, why do you keep going?
That's a good question. I felt like they were playing hot potato at the beginning. Like,
Hey,
who's going to
no,
take
no,
it?
no.
Whose case, who's it going to be? So I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not 100% on that crime scene. Let's see what Daniel Green has got to say.
That are coming. So I'm talking to Alex, getting.
Oh, we talked about him already. Yeah. I don't know if that was the best crime scene ever done, but there certainly was. Let's say that back area behind the kennels, that woods area. They said they looked all through there. I've had people send me pictures from back there where they're, and not that long after the murders, there's all kinds of trash and cans and things like that. I'm like, if you're doing a murder scene, wouldn't you just collect it all, whether it means nothing or not? They didn't go back into those woods. They stayed right there. Who do you want to jump over to next? We got a bunch. We got Blanca.
Oh, sure.
Tells 10 things she saw that no one else did. Let's see what Blanca's got. I was at the trial when Blanca
Oh, wow.
testified.
She's one of my favorites.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Dick and Jim. It wasn't one of their favorites, I can tell you that.
Why is that strange to you, Blanca?
Because it's on the property. The house is part of the kennels. Common sense. Nobody goes in and out. You have to go find somewhere else to go. At least for us regular people, if something happens on our property, you cannot go in your home. You cannot go anywhere near it. You have to find somewhere else to go.
Did she tell this to anybody besides this interviewer?
I have no idea.
No, she didn't.
And that didn't happen.
It was part of the crime scene.
It, to me, is part of the crime scene. How do you not know whether there's stuff there? How do you not know if there's, if whoever, at that point, you didn't know who the killer was? How do you not know that killer's not there? How do you not know that there's weapons? There was so many questions.
Because the house was full of people. Alec called everybody. They were all there. All his attorney buddies, their wives.
Yeah.
But when I heard that that the search warrant was not executed, it upset me because I was accused of cleaning.
She did clean.
Straightening out.
She did straighten out.
Putting stuff away. And
she did put stuff away.
And that I somehow helped, in all of that. And it did.
She just did her job when she got there. Alex says, I want you to clean the place up and make it look like, Maggie would want it.
Yeah.
Does she not remember that conversation?
Well, do you think she shouldn't have, or what's your position?
Well, you got to go by what the police do. And the police didn't, as she said, and if she had a problem with it, then why didn't she say something to the police? But she just walked into the house and just started cleaning, putting up things. I mean, she had said that it looked like somebody had put stuff away, like, the pots that she had out, because most of the time the family, and she'd make food for them, they would just leave it in the sink, and she'd come in the next day and she'd clean it up. She said a lot of that stuff was put away. So she cleaned up. And she cleaned up because Alex asked her to go clean up.
Sure.
Now, people think that Alex was like, go clean the crime scene. He just said, clean it like Maggie would want. And she said that on stand. So I don't know why she's saying this right now.
It upset me because I was like, it's so easy to deflect everything on me than to.
What did they deflect onto her?
I guess things she cleaned up.
She did clean up, but it's not like she's the cleaner.
Admit your faults
And take
and your
responsibility.
mistakes. And I became the fault person in front of the whole world. I was the one that cleaned, that I washed, that I, straightened everything out.
It's because you did.
Yeah. I get why she felt embarrassed, though, or maybe humiliated.
I understand that. Yeah, sure.
What about the others that were there the night before that should have known better? And nobody said anything about any of them.
Why should they have known better? The police didn't cordon off that. Police didn't let them in the house. They were free to walk wherever they wanted to in that house.
Right. And that's a good question. And also, shouldn't she be on the list of people who would know better?
Well, she didn't come until the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were there.
There was a bunch of attorneys.
My point exactly.
I have a question. If
Bunch of
there
civil
were all those
attorneys.
people in that house, would anybody have gone near the laundry room or no?
Whoever put the pots in the refrigerator. But somehow or another, my regret is that I should have, my instinct told me, take pictures of what I saw.
But I didn't.
What else did you see that
He's just about ready to
struck
say it.
you as unusual in that house? Because we heard a lot about like the khaki pants, the t-shirt. Why is
The pajamas.
Tell me why the significance of those things.
The t-shirt that he was wearing when he called 911 was in the laundry room. I had washed it. I had washed it along with the towels that I placed on the top shelf, ready to go to Edisto. The t-shirt was hanging because I hadn't had time to press it. Usually did not become aware until
Pressing his t-shirts.
Frustration.
did not become aware until
impressed.
he put the lids on them and put them in the fridge. And a lot of women were commenting about it.
Do we need to talk about the t-shirt again?
That's your call.
David Owen
What a mess.
in the bloody t-shirt. That's how they got an indictment.
It had to be a man that put the pots in the refrigerator with the lids on top,
Yeah, exactly.
She
And
was
it-
very upset that somebody put lids on the pots and put them in the fridge.
And like I said, I found out later. I didn't know at that point. I had no idea that people had been in that house that night.
She just said that.
Yeah.
Who else would have done it?
And you go in to start straightening things up. What do you find in the bedroom and in the bathroom?
When I
There we
first
go.
arrived, I looked at the things that were wrong, and then I walked to the laundry room. I was going to drop off my keys and my phone. And when I walked through the kitchen, if you look to your left, there was the door to the porch, and then the door entrance to the laundry room. Her pajamas were on the floor in the middle of the doorway, laid out.
Okay. Do you believe that for 1 second?
I don't know what to think of that. It's very strange. And the rest of it just makes me want like a post-mortem NDA for any housekeeper I ever have.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what you do if there's a murder at my house. She's the only one to have said that. She's the only one to have said she saw that.
Yeah.
Everybody asks if there's one question about Blanca, and it's always women, demographic 35, 55. What is with the pajamas? And nobody believes that.
Mhm.
What's the point of it? What would be the point of Alec putting her pajamas out on the floor in the laundry room?
Yeah.
Maybe on the bed or something like that. I don't know. But
It's very strange.
And then the
Alex
whole
does
thing,
not seem like the pajama laying out type, quite frankly.
I don't even know if he knew what pajamas were hers or where they were.
Right, right.
What
Yeah.
I mean, and then the statement Blanca made about, her underwear, that she didn't wear underwear to bed. I'm like,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah. That's the part that makes me want an NDA.
how do you know this?
Right. And why do we
How
have
do
to
you,
tell everyone?
Right.
I don't know. That's very personal, though, isn't it? Like, very personal. I'm not sure it adds to
Why would
the
you put
case.
your pajamas on the floor?
I don't know. To this day, I often wonder why they were in the middle of the floor like that. Even if she got dressed or, in a hurry, which is, I heard something about she could have possibly, she was in her pajamas. She got dressed in a hurry to go out there because they were talking about gunshots. She could have heard them. That was one of the scenarios that I had heard. And I was like, even if she would have gotten dressed in a hurry, her pajamas would have probably been a little pile. I can understand a little pile right there where she changed in a hurry. But that just didn't make sense to me.
And the other thing is that she did not normally wear underclothes, right? When she went to bed, she didn't wear underwear.
She did not.
And they were sitting right there.
When I finally got my grip, I went and I knew I had to pick the stuff up. And I pulled the top. And as soon as I took the top, I looked and I saw her panties. And I was like, no, this was definitely not Maggie. I knew. I knew instantly that was not. And I
again, how does she know?
remember asking law enforcement if anybody had taken a picture of that. And they're like, well, what is the significance? I said, somebody was in the laundry room. I said, somebody
There's
went in the
people in
laundry
that
room. I
house
said,
all
"That was
over the place."
fine." But I wasn't in a set of mind where I wanted to. At that point, it was like my feelings were in the back. I had to make sure that the house was going to be ready for her parents because I wanted to.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I had to be
Yeah.
sure that the house was ready for her parents.
Right.
In the first video, she's talking about, people think I went there to clean up. She just
Make it
Mhm.
as comfortable as I possibly could under the circumstances for them.
Blanca, you said that when you came in, you saw her car parked to the right. Why did that bother you?
Because Maggie used to pull up to the left.
Always?
Mm-hmm.
And that car was on the right?
Every once in a while, I can tell you, she tried to change where everybody parked.
I mean, that could have been somebody just moving the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All the people that were there.
Because the car's not part of the crime scene, as far as we know, right?
Car was they think they did impound it and checked it over. But no, but she's saying things about, she never would park there. She doesn't know what those people were doing there that night. Maybe somebody was blocked in.
Yeah.
Somebody, oh, hey, can you move the car? Oh, I got to move Maggie's car. Yeah, the keys are in the car. And then they move it.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. So now she's sitting here look at her looking up in the sky, looking for the answer.
I wish she would have taken pictures. Because
Yeah,
you can't trust your memory at a time like that.
Which goes back to what that sheriff was saying. We're going to lock you into what you said. I have no idea. I bet if you asked Alec what he said to that guy today, he'd say, I don't remember.
Right.
That's a blur.
One time and say, we're all parking to the right and park our vehicles a certain way. It didn't work. Kitchen entrance if Alex wasn't there with my truck.
Did anybody explain to you why that car was parked on the right?
Nobody said anything. Well, not an arch, but an opening going into the dining room. Fur on it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, once you pass that, the wall, it's kind of odd because usually I would find a cup or a plate.
Yeah, she's just kind of talking about.
But if you would have been in my shoes, you would have been thinking the same thing I was.
Which was?
Make it as comfortable for her family when they arrive. I wasn't thinking straight.
She wasn't thinking straight.
I'm sure that's true. You know,
What's that?
oh, I'm sure that's true. She wasn't thinking straight. There's a phenomenon that sometimes we see with horrific accidents where either a bystander or maybe even somebody with, emergency rescue will come up and start to take care of the person who is badly injured or deceased. The case that comes to mind for me is this girl was clearly dead on the side of the road. Somebody came up and folded her clothes and put them on the guardrail. They're not thinking crime scene. They're just reacting to what they see, and they feel a need to take care of her. So I just imagine that for Blanca it would be like that. She didn't have crime scenes or murder on her mind. She was going in to get it ready for Maggie's parents. She was taking care of Maggie.
Right. Yeah, she said that on the stand.
Yeah.
And it was surreal walking in. I'm sure it was. All the attorneys and everybody had left. The place was, Alec had left. He grabbed a bag and he got out of there. I don't think he ever went back.
Right.
So she was there all by herself. Yeah, I think it would be weird. And now she's walking in going, what the hell just happened? This is where she finishes talking about.
And I looked over. Maggie's car was to the right, which I thought was kind of odd.
She's still talking about that.
Walked in, felt odd.
Here she's talking about it.
And I started. I kind of had to straighten myself out at that point because I knew that I was never going to see her walking with her clunky house shoes in the morning. When I arrived, and that I was going to be fussing at Paul, just leaving his stuff his clothes or his shoes all over the place. You'd walk through the front door and Paul would leave his boot, sock, and whatever. If he shirt or whatever, he'd just drop it. But that was who he was. And I didn't, like I said, Paul, that was just him. But it was just it was just something different.
Okay, something different. I'm going to go into something here in the interview that I had with Blanca. In the interview I had with Blanca, and this is very, this shoots home what she just said. And let's just go through that again while it's quick on our mind. What was she just saying about when she walked in? She's talking about, I'm never going to see Meg walking around in her clunky things. I'm going to be yelling at Paul for leaving his stuff all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So when I talked to her, interviewed her and Fran, her author of her New York Times bestselling book, is that I said the biggest thing that comes to my mind with my demographic, which is again 80% women, 35-55, is that you portrayed yourself as being Maggie's friend. And I said, and that's fine. However, I said, I've looked at the phone records. She, in the month prior to and up to the day of, she may have called you 3 times and they were short, maybe 4, short amount, minute, 2 minutes tops. I said, and then 13 texts, which 7 or 8 of those came on the day of the murders. I said, so when you have a what you call a very good friend or best friend or whatever, how you want to label her, the phone records don't back that up. And she was like, well, I didn't have to because, I saw her all the time. I saw her, every day or every other day whenever I went over there.
Yeah.
But she just did it here in the explanation. What are you going to miss? I'm going to miss Maggie and I having coffee together. I'm going to miss Maggie and I sitting around talking, laughing, watching movies together, looking at TikToks together, looking at whatever it is, spending our quality time together that my friend and I spent. Instead, what she describes is things that she did when she was there at work.
You think she needs to remember it that way?
Well, I've got cleaning people that come here, and when they're there, I'm very nice to them.
Sure, of course.
I don't have a huge conversation. I need this, I need that. Can you help me with that? We'll laugh and joke and tell a few things. That's as far as it goes. I'm not going to sit down and tell them that, we owe Mark Tinsley $30 million. And we don't have it, and I'm broke, and I'm leaving Alec, and whatever it is else she was allegedly, had said.
Yeah.
I just think that Maggie was a very nice person, and she's in her house, and why not? Why not have a conversation with her and talk to her while she's working?
Yeah. They sure did make a lot of that at the trial, though. I think it was Dick that was, is that right? Was it Dick that was talking to Blanca? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
About what?
Dick. Oh, in the trial, I was trying to think of who it was that had her on the stand. It was that other fellow, Meadows. Is that right?
Oh, John Meadows. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
I'm going to do my best John Meadows imitation here. Let's see if I can do that. I'd be like, oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't mean to say that, Your Honor. I know I shouldn't have said that, Your Honor. I apologize. Your Honor. I was like, what the hell?
Let me do my justice toll for you. Sit down.
Right? She's like, listen, I know what game you're playing. Stop it.
Yeah,
dude.
He wasn't having that at all.
He played such a huckleberry. Country boy, I'm sorry I asked that question, Your Honor. I'll swear I didn't mean to.
You're exactly right. All the way to Bubba, right?
And, and then the glass is up on top of his head. I mean, it was like...
That's so funny, yeah.
I wish I had video to play of it, because I was just like, oh my God, dude, stop. Like... So theatrics. And he was, why did Jim and Dick, he asked so many leading questions. Why didn't these guys stop and go, Your Honor, leading question, like somebody would say a wrong date and be like, oh yeah, it was on the 10th. On the 10th? Oh, I mean, it was on the 11th. Yeah, like, oh no, that wasn't scripted.
Yeah, he was kind of a nightmare that way.
And then he would just play this beg for forgiveness, don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness thing. And just with the glasses, and he kind of dressed disheveled a little bit. And I was like, what is this dude doing? So let's look at the Rogan Gibson. Let's go, because I got plenty of stuff to say about Rogan Gibson. Yeah, let's go to Roro.
Yes, sir. Can you point out Alex Murdaugh, the person whose voice you recognize in this video in this courtroom, please?
Sitting right there in the gray jacket.
Please let the record reflect he's identified the defendant.
Prosecutors even asked Blanca about Bubba chasing chickens.
Have you ever seen Bubba with an animal in his mouth?
Here he is.
Yes, sir.
All right, tell him about that, please. Please do.
When Bubba was running around, if I or anybody, if the chickens were running out of the coop, he would chase the chickens, and he would.
Of course he would. He's a dog, number one. Number two, he's a Labrador. That's what they do. They chase birds.
We just go after the chickens or the guineas, whatever was out there.
And would you ever catch him?
Yes, he would.
All right. And how would the chicken get out of Bubba's mouth? And
you have to make several attempts to get the chicken out of his mouth, and at points he would growl at you if you tried to take his toy. Basically that's what he.
In your experience in being there, was it easier for a family member or somebody Bubba knew to get the chicken out?
If he's stubborn.
Listen to the crowd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Talking about Bubba.
But would it take a period of time to get the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
Yes, it was.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. We're
Throughout the
spending this much time talking about chickens and a dog? What does that
And
have to
Bubba,
do with
yeah, Bubba's the hero.
Alex Murdaugh maintained that he was asleep at the house when those murders happened.
No, we know
I
that
got
was a
up,
lie.
I called Maggie, didn't get an answer, and I
That's
left
true.
to go to my mom's. She had said she might ride with me, but she normally doesn't when I go over there. And I think I texted her.
You called her twice and you texted her.
And she's very good about answering the phone, so that was odd, or calling me back. So that was odd, but it wasn't that big a deal.
What time was that?
What time was what?
That you sent her a text message?
9:08? No. Yeah, something like that.
All right. I texted her at 9:08.
But in
There we
court,
go.
he had to admit he lied and explained why.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you? On the kennel video at 8:44 p.m. on June 7th.
Look at Maters' ties all goofy. That's what I mean, kind of disheveled look. Sitting next to Wilson.
The night Maggie and Paul were murdered.
And there's your boy Will, standing next to
Oh, my boy.
my boy Radowski. There's what's her name? Valerie.
Mm-hmm.
I love looking at the crowd. There's the white hair. What the hell's his name? I know his name.
Oh, yeah. The crowd is fascinating, though.
Cancer brand. I can't figure it out.
It is.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were
I
murdered?
was.
I was.
Did you lie to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy
I did.
Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th and told them that you...
Yes, sir. Can you point out Alex Murdaugh, the person whose voice you recognize in this video, and someone becomes a family annihilator?
That kennel video.
Later.
The video that was locked in Paul's phone for 9 months, that was for Paul's friend Rogan. Paul was walking.
All right. So Rogan Gibson, I'm just going to sidebar here for a second. There's a lot of Gibsons down there, but he is also related to a person named Chrissy Gibson, who was dating a guy by the name of Patrick Wilson, who was a person of interest. Who was a person of interest in the death of Stephen Smith. Patrick Wilson at the time lived in Chrissy Gibson's father's an extra house he had on Swamp Cross Road, which was a 3.5 to 4 minute drive to Moselle. Just a sidebar for anybody. And by the way, did anybody believe? Because I certainly still don't to this day, that there was anything wrong with this dog's tail.
It doesn't look like there is.
I'm no vet, but let's just watch this.
His dog Cash, and there was something wrong with his tail. Paul
What was wrong with his? No one's ever said what was wrong with his tail.
was taking the video to send to Rogan.
He's sitting
who
down,
wanted
he's
a
wagging
vet
it.
friend to look at it, but he never got the video. He didn't
You can hear the dog. He's like, I don't hear any crying or anything going
know
on.
it existed.
Paul's
He
like,
didn't
oh,
even
shit,
see
I
it
don't know what's
until
going on with this
a
thing.
year and a half later.
In November of 2022, did law enforcement ask you to come in and look at a video?
They did.
And did you watch that video?
I did.
And what was on that video?
It was the video. Paul was supposed to take a cash. Cash was on the video.
And did you recognize the voices on there?
I did.
Did you recognize the voices of your second family?
I did.
And what voices did you hear?
Paul's, Miss Maggie, Miss Alex.
And how sure are you?
Mr. Alec.
Positive.
100%?
That's correct.
When you
Now, let's just point out that at 9:44, the murders hadn't taken place. 9:45, the murders hadn't taken place. 9:46, the murders hadn't taken place. 9:47, the murders hadn't taken place. I'm still going. 9:48, the murders hadn't taken place. 9:49 is when Paul's phone locked.
Wow.
At 9:49:01. Maggie's locked at 9:49:31. And Alex said, "Understand what? I got the hell out of there. I was down there. Started to do what I didn't want to do." And Creighton was like, "Oh, what was that, Mr. Murdaugh?" Wet. I'm a 300-pound drug addict. I just showered and I'm sweating my ass off chasing this damn dog. I didn't want to do that. I'm getting the hell out of there. Got on his golf cart. Maggie walked with him along the side in front of the hangar. Off he went. He was back inside the house. 9:47. Murders hadn't taken place yet. He's inside the house.
Received that phone call from Paul at the kennels at 8:40 p.m. on the night of June 7th, 2021. Did Paul sound normal to you?
He did.
Did he sound stressed to you?
He did not.
Did he sound like someone was there that he didn't know?
No, sir.
No.
Did he sound
There's
worried?
nobody there yet.
He did.
They're all sitting in the woods
Hear
watching.
Maggie's voice?
Yeah. I did.
Did she sound stressed?
She did.
Did she sound worried?
No.
Did she sound normal?
She did.
Did she sound like there was somebody there she didn't know?
No, sir.
Or that she was in danger?
No, sir.
Did you hear Alex's voice?
What I thought was his voice at the time, yeah.
Was it common, to your knowledge, for guns to be left down at the kennels?
Do you see how Creighton did? How did Paul sound? Did he sound worried? Did he sound upset? No, sound fine. How about Maggie? Worried, upset? No. Did you hear Alex's voice? Yeah. Okay. It just moves on. Because he didn't sound worried or upset either. He's like, "Oh, Bubba, oh, Bubba."
Good point.
There was no tension in anybody's voice that night. And you're talking about 5 minutes before shots are fired.
Yeah.
Does that sound like at all like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna just kill my family"?
No, it really doesn't.
I mean, he's helping getting the chicken. I mean, 5 minutes later, after he gets the chicken out.
Sometimes there was, yeah.
I'm gonna play that video for you, okay?
Okay.
Get that.
Here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Quick, Cash.
There's hardly anybody there. Baba.
Hey, Bubba.
Sorry, Dad.
There's a chicken. Come here, Cash. Cash. Quick.
That video you watched back in November 2022?
It is.
Where's that video taken?
At the kennels.
You recognize your dog?
I do.
Was there anything wrong with his tail?
Yes, sir.
No.
You recognize Maggie's voice?
Yes, sir.
You recognize Alex's voice?
Yes, sir.
We got all that. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Maybe Bubba did it.
Bubba. My contention has always been, and if you've watched Crime and Cask, you know that there were two killers. They were in the woods sitting there waiting for Paul to be alone. They didn't want to take out Alec. Alex said, "You want to take out three people. We're here for Paul. And we're here for Paul only." And everybody's like, "Oh, those dogs would have known." No, they wouldn't. Their people were there. Food was going to be handed out. Chickens were there. They didn't give two squats of what's going on 100 feet or 100 yards into the woods. These things, they're not military trained, whatever. I mean, they're just good old boy hunting dogs, right?
Right.
They chase chickens. The people act like, Labradors are the best guard dogs there are. Okay, just stop making stuff up. And by the way, if the two killers, in my opinion, the dogs would have known who those people were as well.
Right.
So, yeah, everybody seemed fine down there. What do you think about that whole crime scene there? Or not crime scene, but the whole video there when Rogan and his dog and Maggie and Paul. I mean, that's a big part of their...
Sure, it's all they had. it's really all they had because they don't have a lot in terms of evidence to put Alex there or make him the shooter.
They didn't. There is no evidence. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. Well, let's talk about evidence because oh man, where'd it go? Go ahead. You keep going. I'm going to look for this real quick.
Oh, keep going. Well, I mean, without the T-shirt, they didn't have car data back, although it doesn't really support their theory either. Yeah, there's
nothing on the T-shirt.
There's really nothing. I mean, but there's no, really, they have no evidence. Just that tape, which is supposed to be a bombshell, and it puts him there exactly when that recording was made, not at any other time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to listen to my buddy, old pal, Eric Bland.
Oh, boy.
Who, by the way, for those listening at home, is under multiple ethics violations by the Office of Disciplinary Counsel by the, I was want to say, United States, South Carolina Supreme Court. Just so we're all aware. We're going to listen to Eric Bland talk about the reasonable doubt. I believe it's a reasonable doubt one. Let me just double check because there was another one. He had overwhelming evidence. That's how trials are bought. Oh, overwhelming evidence. Here we go.
I kind of get pulled into being a spokesperson for the prosecution in the murder case. Dick Harpootlian had so many people going out on TV and, oh, there's reasonable doubt.
Why is he a spokesperson for the prosecution? He is a civil attorney suing Murdaugh and financial. Why is he a spokesperson? Why did he become a spokesperson for the prosecution?
I don't know, but nobody gives more faithfully to Dick Harpootlian's campaigns
Than Eric Bland.
Or in the murder trial, and their state's not able to prove their case. I felt that they had done an amazing job.
An amazing job. Well, let's hear what amazing job you think they did.
In proving his guilt. And why do I say that? Well, look,
why?
No two executioners are going to come to somebody's house in rural South Carolina.
Look at the look on his face right now. He's just making shit up. No two executioners are going to come to rural South Carolina. What if they already live in rural South Carolina?
That's what I was just thinking.
He thinks that these people are flying up from, I don't know, the Medellin cartel to take Paul Murdaugh. I'm like, come on.
At 9 o'clock at night without their own guns.
Okay. So let's get into without their own guns.
Yeah.
I interviewed Blanca Simpson. She told me she saw a vehicle down at the kennels that was not a family vehicle. It was a four-door white Ford F-150 vehicle that was down at the hangar at about 3:30 in the afternoon on June 7th, 2021. She said adamantly it was not anybody from the family. I asked her if it was the Dodge, the F-250, and she got mad at me. She's like, I know the difference between a 250 and a 150, Jen. I was like, okay. But I had, prior to meeting with her, I had sent a picture of a Ford F-150. And I asked Fran, her author, is this the vehicle she saw? Send this to Blanca and ask her if this is the vehicle she saw. And the response I got back was confirmation on the vehicle. So then we talked about it. And as I'm sitting here talking, confirmation on the vehicle, confirmation on the vehicle. Yeah, that's the vehicle I saw. I'm like, you're sure? And then she was getting mad at me. Then she was like, well, whose vehicle did you see down there? I said, well, she asked me, she goes, well, whose vehicles that you think I saw? And I said, well, you said that's the vehicle, right? Yes. And I told her, I said, well, the vehicle that you said you saw down there that day on June 7th, 2021 is Sean Conley's truck. Sean Conley from Patrick Wilson and Stephen Smith. And then her eyes went big and her jaw dropped down. And then it was like, That's not what I said. I said, no, I didn't say you said it was Sean Struck. I said the picture I sent you was, you told me that's the one you saw.
Right.
Whatever it is, that's the one she saw. So, and then I had another source come to me who had overheard a conversation from somebody telling another story about, in plain day, about his friend who had apparently taken out Stephen Smith, whoever that is, went and stole the guns that day, and laughed about it because they're never, ever going to find those guns. And this guy has nothing to do with Blanca, nothing to do with Conley, didn't have anything to do with anybody, didn't even hardly watch the Alex Murdaugh trial. So you get all these confirming stories that all of a sudden, yeah, they did come that day to steal the guns. And yeah, they may still even have them, but you're never going to find them. And they were laughing about it. So keep going, Eric.
Okay, nobody's walking on to kill somebody in rural South Carolina without coming with guns.
Oh, they came with guns, the ones that they stole, and they're like, well, how did they know there was guns down there? Well, I'll answer that for you as well, because they knew Paul Murdaugh was going to go and take his vehicle to the auto center. Why do you know that? Because Paul Murdaugh lived on Snapchat. He had friends that he told this to. His car was broke down. He was taking it to the auto center. Whoever that crazy guy was that killed the dove fields, the flowers there, he came and picked him up. CB Rowe came, picked up Paul, took him there, let him drop him off. But before Paul put his vehicle into the shop, he took out his 300 blackout and he took out his 12 gauge and maybe a pistol, I don't know. And where did he put it?
Probably
in the hangar.
Oh, in the hangar. Okay.
That's where Paul always kept the stuff. Everybody.
Yeah. And everybody knew it. Is that the deal?
Everybody knew it. All his friends knew it. When I interviewed Patrick Wilson, they're like, oh, yeah, that's always where he kept his gun. Go on. Overwhelming evidence.
I borrow your shotgun and your AR to kill your wife and son.
No, I'm just going to steal them so you don't know about it.
Two, if two people commit murder, they're never going to be able to keep the secret.
Oh,
Really?
I don't know.
Really? Stephen Smith had been dead for 10 years. That secret was pretty safe until about 6 months ago when I broke it.
You wouldn't lie to your only living child, Buster, that you were actually there in the kennels 2 minutes before Maggie and Paul were shot. And for 2 years, he lied.
That's his overwhelming evidence. He didn't tell Buster he was at the kennels. How does he know he didn't tell Buster?
And said he wasn't at the kennel. And then when the police come, you're not going to have a whole new set of clothes on.
You're not going to have a whole new set of clothes on. So the clothes, you have any you want to add to this? Blanca says she saw him in a different shirt.
He's a big guy. It's summertime. I figure he changed a few times a day.
Yeah, he did say he showered quite a bit. Plus, if he's taking Oxy, he's probably sweating.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a nasty drug. And then he goes out in the Snapchat video where he's looking at the tree and the tree falls over and Paul's laughing at him. They're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after that is when he showered. And then Maggie came home. But, okay, so that's over in evidence. He changed clothes.
Right.
If you drove up and your spouse and your child was there, you would be hugging them.
Eric would be hugging them. Everybody reacts differently to trauma.
That's very true.
I'd be covered in blood.
You'd be covered in blood and mud. You wouldn't be totally pristine. The first phone call you would make would be to your only living son, Buster.
He's very adamant of what Alex should have been doing.
Yeah.
That's called what? Portrayal?
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
It's very strange.
You'd call Buster. No, I wouldn't call Buster. I'd call 911.
Yeah. Yeah. Buster's not nearby like his brothers are. There's
And who did Alec first call?
one of the brothers, I think, after 911, right?
After 911.
Yeah.
To say, if you really believe that people were trying to kill the family, you would say to Buster, you wouldn't wait 42 minutes to call Buster.
Now, how did he know that somebody was trying to kill the family?
Right. Well, and the hardest phone call of your life, right? The hardest phone call of your life, I would think, would be that call to Buster.
Yeah, I mean, he may have known that Maggie was dead. He didn't want to believe it. That's for sure. That's why he was asking Daniel Green, are they dead? Are they dead? He wanted somebody else to say they were dead.
And in the interim 42 minutes, you wouldn't do a Google search on fine restaurants in Beaufort, South.
He's already said that was a mistake. He was so nervous. He was hitting his phone, and I think it was a previous Google search or something. Or he hit the wrong button. I can see that happen. Shut it all the time on my phone. I'm like, hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
He thinks like he's sitting around with a cigar in a lounge chair, Googling restaurants. It's not
Carolina.
He did?
So
he did.
There was so much overwhelming circumstantial evidence that he did it.
And that's it. That's just, he didn't call Buster. He didn't give them a hug. And who's going to show up with no guns?
Yeah.
In rural South Carolina. That's it. That's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was going on TV every night during the trial, battling whether it would be Mark Garagos, who's a famous lawyer in California.
He's a famous criminal defense attorney in California. Eric is a civil attorney who sues other attorneys.
Or Alan Dershowitz.
Alan Dershowitz, another criminal defense expert.
Yeah.
He's arguing with them.
Famous lawyer from Harvard University, who all were saying, "Oh, the state's case stinks."
Kind of did.
It kind of did.
Yeah.
But the civil attorney, hey, listen, I am texting every single morning with Creighton Waters. I am giving him, we're talking strategy. But Mark Garagos doesn't know what he's doing.
Creighton put up with a lot.
I think he is 100% guilty.
And he is welcome to have that opinion.
Yeah.
We got to go. There's so many here. Whoops. By the way, this is Murder Mondays. If anybody wants to follow her, she's got a pretty good. Whoops. She's got a pretty good show. Defense attorneys. Here's the one. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. You remember he was talking about going on TV?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think about Eric's overwhelming evidence?
No, I think that's what he's got to say. Because like the state, it's all he's got. Right.
That's
so
it.
That's the story. Yeah, he's gonna have to say that. That's the story.
This is a good one. I mean, it's and they call me an idiot for bringing actual evidence and information that is connected and verified again. Why wouldn't you call the first call you be Buster? That proves you're guilty.
Right.
He didn't do it.
Hold on.
Why do people still think that he didn't do it?
Because that's what they want to believe. They want.
I can't believe he just said that. Because that's what they want to believe. He needs to look in the mirror when he says that, because that's what he wants to believe.
Yeah.
I've got overwhelming evidence. The state doesn't have anything. In fact, I use the state's own evidence to prove it.
They want to believe that that there really is this, there were a group of people that wanted Alex and his family to suffer. If that's
No, they wanted Paul to shut his mouth and be gone forever.
the case, if Alex really thought that there's killers out there on the loose that want to take out our family, why would he have told Buster, come back to Mizell at 10:42 at night?
He really is stuck on that Buster thing, isn't he?
He really is. I do think, though, that there are people who wanted Alex to suffer, and I think they are civil attorneys.
Well, yeah. So there's that, but also in that one source that had come forward, and he had overheard this conversation, and the guy recanting the story was replaying the story was they were laughing at Alec, that Alec got busted for this, and they were like, we didn't care because we hated Alec anyway, so they were laughing about it. But yeah, they were laughing at the fact that Alec took the rap for this thing, but they didn't care because they hated him and they hated Paul.
When he made that phone call, wouldn't you say, Ann, hey, don't come home. Your mother and brother were just killed and somebody may be trying to kill you or me, wherever.
Look at his look on his face. Wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you? No. Why? Just because you would do that doesn't mean everybody should do that. This is what I hate about these kind of things. If somebody says can't stand Eric.
You are, go to a police station. He knew what he did. And he tried to think, he thought that he could use his personality and the larger than life that he was to
convince everybody. Let me just we could talk about some evidence for a second here. 0 blood on his t-shirt, 0 blood on his pants, 0 blood on his shoes, 0 blood on his hands. I mean, he may have had a drop of Maggie's DNA or blood on her from touching her, but a drop. We're talking a single drop. No blood in his vehicle, no blood on the golf cart, no blood in the house, no blood in the shower, no blood in the bathroom, no blood.
convince everybody that he was innocent. And he failed miserably because he's a narcissist.
As a pot calling the kettle black. Look at Ann. She's like,
Yeah. That
and a psychopath.
Among
oh, and he's a psychopath too.
I'm sure he's still getting profiles and psychological, definitions thrown at him in prison too. I wonder. But I wanted to know, like, did you? I don't know if I ever asked you, like, did you know the Murdaughs before this?
No. In fact, I was speaking yesterday to a Rotary group in Orangeburg, and I said, before
speaking to a Rotary group in Orangeburg. This is what I deal with every day.
Yeah.
I don't deal in rhetoric. I don't deal in what people should have done over a murder. I deal in facts and evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you have written the book on Teflon against DuPont off of your opinions? What DuPont should have done?
I would have been sued for that because my opinion isn't worth anything at all. It's only the truth that matters.
The truth based off of what? Evidence.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Again, if you think there is overwhelming evidence, as Eric Bland pointed out what the overwhelming evidence is, at least in his mind, feel free to leave it in the comments of what you think it is. I think we've kind of dispelled some of it. One thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to get that off. Whoops. I'm going to remove that. We talked about media.
Oh, yeah.
And the media circus around this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
And you worked for Lunar Shark at the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. During the trial, I worked for Lunar Shark leading up to the trial, too.
How come Liz and Manny never went to the trial except until they got kicked out, I guess?
Well, yeah.
Well, they say they didn't get kicked out, did they?
Right. Other people have different stories, but I guess Liz was there for part of jury selection, right?
Yep.
Made a list against the judge's orders.
Yep.
So, which wasn't names, but it was identifying information about the jury. So,
Yeah, like where they worked. So this is an article I talked about at the beginning of the show. Text and emails raise questions. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. You can go read it at crimeandcast.com. But this really goes into the narrative that was created not only in the Murdaugh trial, but the boat crash and the 392 case and the Plylers, is I'm pronouncing it right?
yeah, that's right.
The Plyler case, which was another financial crime that Alec committed with Palmetto State Bank.
Mm-hmm. Russell Lafitte.
Right, Russell Lafitte, and how I didn't get a chance to get to Mark Tinsley and some of his comments because I don't want the show to go for 3 hours. But everybody thinks that because I listened to the podcasts, because I read the articles, and honestly, because I saw it on TV, I watched the trial every day, I know what was going on.
Oh.
And I tell people, if you listen to podcasts and you read stories, you did not know anything that was going on. You knew what people wanted you to know.
Yeah. That's
That is Murdaugh is guilty, Murdaugh is guilty, Murdaugh is guilty. Anything other than Murdaugh guilty, you're not going to read about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a narrative created. And when we did another show, a lot of it came from a guy by the name of Mark Tinsley, who worked directly with Liz Farrell and Manny Matney, who you worked for at one time. And they received a lot of information from Mark when they were not only at Fitz News, but then when they left and started Luna Shark. And then that's when you went to go work for him. And here's the Alana and the Hannah Plyer case. And this is internal messages that you have from Fitz News that ended up on a computer they told you to keep, and phones that had iClouds mixed up and sent on to you. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but legally obtained messages here.
From my personal device, yeah.
From your personal device.
Mm-hmm.
And this one we're looking at here, it says in messages, Farrell and Matney discussed the need for caution and how materials were referenced publicly. Now, why would they do that?
Well, because it was already a problem this early on.
So she says, we need to be careful how we refer to them, referring specifically to the Plyler documents. It says, I haven't wrapped my head around yet as how we can refer to them without referring to them. Mark, referring to Tinsley, is currently getting in trouble for having the 6,000 pages of knife fighter shit. Explain what the knife fighter stuff is quickly, if you could.
Okay, yes, I will try. Greg Parker's team, I believe he has said he hired knife fighters, which would be people who were trying to create another narrative regarding the boat crash. Another being something opposite the narrative that Mark Tinsley was putting out there. And of course, Mark Tinsley was representing the Beach family. Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay,
that body of information, that's known as the knife fighter documents. It was supposed to not be shared. It was supposed to be confidential.
So then they come up with another text message here, something along the lines. So it goes, so it's pretty well documented, unfortunately, but I think we can cite, and in air quotes, sources on this, sources familiar with the Plyler case, something like that. I mean, that's kind of an old journalist trick, right?
Right.
If I don't have a source, I can say sources familiar. And they don't make it easy to make an appointment. They cancel shit on you. I don't know what that is.
You can't just get the documents. That's the other problem. They couldn't just acquire them on their own. They got them through Tinsley, and at that time, that was the only way to get them.
And Liz says, we've had the files for a long time. They're beasts. They beast that she's referring to. I mean, I keep meaning to break them apart and sort them. And yeah, at one point, Farrell acknowledged the reporters had possessed materials for an extended period of time, writing that they had the files for a long time. So then here's where Mark Tinsley references source for documents. So messages identify South Carolina attorney Mark Tinsley as the individual who provided or facilitated access to the Plyler's material. And they noted, Tinsley was getting in trouble over the handling of thousands of knife fighter documents. I can't believe that there were thousands of knife fighter documents, first of all. And there's
I've never seen them, so I don't know.
yeah, and then there's another one that says in the communications, the opposing attorneys addressed a situation which Tinsley disclosed documents before a final court order compelling production, and while privileged and relevance disputes were still pending. Now this gets into the Beach v. Parker case, and we're going to look at one here. This is an interesting one. And this is an email from an attorney called Susan McWilliams. She's a member of Nexum Pruitt. I think it's Maynard Nexum now. One of the largest law firms in the state that I know of. And she writes to Mark, we have been informed that you apparently gave a copy or informed Senator Sten, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Of the email from, and it's hard to read this one, whoever it's from, on Friday afternoon, and have obtained documents from her client prior to any order directing their production. This email is not an order, as you know, and Amy indicated from form 4, order would be issued. From that order, we intended to appeal, as was contemplated by Judge Price's April 6 order. Now, here's where it gets interesting. We request that you not review anything you have received, which, as you know, we contend are privileged, and any review by you at this time is improper. We also request that you return the materials to us immediately, and we intend to seek relief from an appellate court. Do not look at the materials. Send them back to us.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he do? According to this?
Sent it to Liz.
Say, I'm not supposed to see these. Hold on. Forward to Liz. Click. Boom. I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to do that. I'm no attorney, but do I need to? Emails allege, we've been informed. We went through that. Reporters' discussion showing us. And here, Matney is acknowledging the sensitivity on how the information was obtained and how it could be referenced publicly. At one point, Farrell writes, we need to be careful how we refer to them. That sounds like a scheme.
It does, yeah.
Sources familiar with the case. Okay, so then she says, well, let's go back. It was, this is perfect because it says it was just the clerk who gave it to him, right? Referring to Mark. So the clerk of court gave it to him, so it's public.
Right.
Liz responds, Gooding and Gooding are the only ones who have the files. Right. You ever see those airplanes in World War II, those Japanese airplanes that crash into...
Kamikaze.
I just have this thought in my head. It was like, boom.
Well, the next line should have said, like, Gooding and Gooding are the only ones who have these files, and they're only sharing them with us because that's how it went down.
So the attorney goes on to say, we intend to file a motion, emergency protective order today. Stand by our positions that your possession of these documents is improper and any dissemination likewise improper. Liz Farrell. Gooding and Gooding are the only ones that have these files. Is that crazy that according to this document here, Mark Tinsley's told by another attorney do not disseminate these, and the first person he sends them to is a journalist?
It doesn't make sense to me. She couldn't give him legal advice. She also wasn't gathering the information for a story. It's just weird.
In this knife fighter litigation, acknowledged Farrell characterizes the discovery dispute as particularly aggressive, referring to it as the 6,000 pages of knife fighters, but this says, I don't want to add fuel to that fire. And then here's another one, Liz the Mandy. Yes, in all caps, you never saw this. LOL, LOL, LOL.
Mm-hmm.
For those playing at home that don't know what LOL is, that means laughing out loud. And Mandy responds, I know nothing. Again.
Yeah.
But I'm the bad guy. Come on. Come on. All right. Here it says, saw nothing, heard nothing, but holy hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you know about Greg Roman? We should do a background on him and any connects he might have to Vicky Ward. Already doing it. And somebody says, well, fuck, not good.
Right.
And then here's another one. So this guy, Tabor Vall, is he a foreigner? That's an interesting name, Tabor Vall, if I'm pronouncing that one right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you say it, but he's kind of related to Alex. Like,
really? I guess who isn't down there?
Well, good point. Yeah.
And he's worked alongside with Tinsley in this Murdaugh-related civil litigation, was copied on some of these communications that were sent to Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it right there.
Yeah.
Gooding, Tabor Vall, with his law firm, Beach v. Parker. That's Susie again. Susie, I forwarded the email from the judge to Senator Sen on Friday. You obviously had not told Senator Sen that you had intended the appeal and to the client not comply with the judge's order as you had instructed them in regard to the subpoena. Then on Sunday morning, Mr. Donahue, Wes Donahue, sent me the documents which we reviewed. Where did Wes Donahue get them from?
I think he's one of the knife fighters for Parker's. Is that right?
Yeah, he was hired by Parker's, and then they had some sort of fallout. I don't know. I think he was talking bad about Parker at some time. Tabor says, I dispute that there was no final order compelling the production of materials. That's wrong, as we know now, by Senator Sen's client, or that Senator Sen's client had to wait until they received a Form 4 order. If you all had intended to appeal the judge's later ruling, it seems prudent, blah, 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 blah. And he's trying to lay some cover fire for their actions. But I'm assuming that Tabor doesn't know that Mark was, or maybe it was Tabor. I don't know. Somebody forwarded these to Liz.
Yeah.
I'm sure if anybody accessed the email thread, they could find that pretty easy. And then we go into, I'm not the judge or jury on this, although I have sent in 8 filings to the ethics committee on Eric Bland, who is under ethics violation on multiple violations by the council, Office of Disciplinary Counsel by the South Carolina Supreme Court. I just enjoy saying that. But
well, yeah, saying these under investigation, that's more grace than they give you or I.
Me, they've called me a murderer, everything. Stop at murder and go down.
They don't even put allegedly with it. They
don't even put allegedly. I'm the worst possible person ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing this. Ethics violations. So these are just what I did some research on this and looked up Rule 407. There's the rules of professional conduct, particularly where attorneys appear to have shared or facilitated access to non-public litigation information with journalists during active discovery disputes. That's a no-no. 3.4, fairness to opposing party and counsel, which bars a lawyer from unlawfully obstructing another party's access to evidence or disclosing materials in a manner that circumvents court-ordered discovery processes. That's not a good one. Trial publicity, 3.6. where attorneys provide extrajudicial information to the press that would materially prejudice ongoing proceedings. That's a big one.
That's a very big one. Yeah.
The rule restricts statements, by an extension, disclosures that have a substantial likelihood of influencing public opinion, oops, or judicial proceedings while litigation is active, and providing journalists with disputed discovery materials during knife fighter litigation or whatever it was, as described in the messages, raise questions about whether such disclosures cross the line from permissible public information into prejudicial extrajudicial conduct. Say that 3 times fast.
Wow. But what do they call it when they craft the whole storyline?
I don't even know if there's a word made up for that.
Yeah, I don't either. Right.
4.1, truthfulness in statements to others may be implicated if attorney knowingly admits or misrepresents material fact to third parties in a way that facilitates improper conduct. That's not a good one either. And then 8.4, none of these are good. It's professional misconduct for a lawyer to violate or attempt to violate the rules of professional conduct, knowingly assist another to do so, or engage in conduct involving dishonesty or conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice if they disclose non-public discovery material to journalists without authorization. And I'm pretty sure Susie said, do not disseminate.
Yeah.
Now, let me just make it clear for the audience here. These are all allegations, and the emails themselves do not constitute a disciplinary finding, and only the Office of Disciplinary Counsel and the South Carolina Supreme Court can do so. I am just pointing out some of the rules that they have publicly listed. Whether they line up with that, I don't know. In my opinion, they do. What about yours?
It certainly does not go with the narrative of being Facebook friends only.
We're only
or digging in the public index like journalists do.
So here's another one that you're well aware of, and this goes back to the Plyler case. I always want to call him Plyer, not Plyler. And this is with Eric Bland, Mr. Overwhelming Evidence. He says, this is 2 other journalists talking about Eric Bland. It says, so there's another attorney on the Plyler case back in the day. His name was Beecham, and he got 35% of the fees, and Alex and Ronnie split the rest. And he had no responsibility on the case, which means it was a referral fee. This is illegal, and Eric Bland, Eric, isn't going to mess with it because Beecham is a friend of the Plylers. And they say, this is how corruption works. There's that LOL again. And someone responds, no shit, Jesus.
Yeah, that is exactly how corruption works.
That's it. So why didn't Eric Bland sue this Beecham guy who also got fees?
That's a very good question. I believe he was the lead attorney. I think they phrased it that he had no responsibility, but he was on the case first, and then he kind of recruited folks from PMPED.
Well, in the words of Eric Bland, if it were me, I believe what he should have done was sue them, because otherwise, let's just take that logic theory thinking and go, what I believe I would do is what he should have done. So therefore, he didn't do it that way. He was wrong and he's guilty. Isn't that basically what he was doing in that video?
Pretty much, yeah.
I just did the same thing.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're going to come after me for that.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
What are they going to say? Oh, I stole these. I'm working for the Parkers. I'm feeding the Parkers information. Parkers are feeding me information. I'm working for John Paul Miller. I'm working for Alex Murdaugh. Oh. Let me just tell you this. Anytime anybody says this, you just show how stupid you are. Your little haters are going to come up and put some screenshot of me on there, and you're going to make fun of, I don't know, what jacket I'm wearing or what my headphones look like. It's a discredit and smear campaign so that the truth to what we're saying here is not believed by the general public.
It's the lowest kind of shenanigans.
That's it. And I can't wait for it. I just finished my Stephen Smith book.
Yay.
So the hate is going to come out for that, because how dare I write a book? That is Mandy's book to write. Well, if it's Mandy's book to write, then go ahead and write a book then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to come after me for that. So I don't know. They just come after me for anything.
I don't know. They are definitely going to come after you, but maybe you don't mind it so much. I don't know.
I don't care.
Someone has to.
I don't care anymore.
Good.
Yeah, but you know what? There's let me get this off of here. There's a weatherman. I forget his name. He's a meteorologist in Myrtle Beach. This guy has haters.
Oh, really?
I was like, well, thank God I'm not the only one. Like, if you can hate a weatherman, like anybody then can be hated. Like this guy's Ed. His name is Ed.
I have no idea.
He's got haters. He's always complaining about them all the time. I'm like, how does a weatherman have haters? I guess he gets his weather wrong.
Yeah, must be. That must be it.
It would appear, based off of what we've been talking about, is that the narrative that was built up around Murdaugh, around the boat crash, around the Plyler case, around you name it, is a narrative that people wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Not the truth.
No, and it didn't come about as the result of efforts by investigative journalists. That's not how it happened.
Somebody was emailed documents before they came out, and they put stories together. Or, as Liz said in her deposition, Mark just wrote the story for us, and we just posted it verbatim. Something along those lines.
Yeah, right. She didn't question what he said. What he said, she put in the article. That's
right.
Not journalism. That's PR.
That's right. That's not journalism. That's PR.
Yeah.
And they try to say, I'm not a journalist.
Those are fighting words.
They call me an online personality. Hey, everybody. Online personality coming at you.
It's gotten crazy.
I just don't care anymore. I care about you know what I care about? I care about the truth.
Yeah.
And the people that are confused and always say that I'm working for this person or working for that person, those are the same people, because they wouldn't do it unless someone was paying them to do it. Why else would you do it? For the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Right. Journalism
The
has
truth.
not been traditionally a job you do for money. It just isn't. You have to do it for the love of it.
Although you did say in our one episode we did last time, what were the cars you called them? The
Murdaugh
mobiles?
mobiles. Yeah.
Murdaugh mobiles.
Yeah, this
Everybody
is
got
the
a new
one
car.
time in my life it's been profitable to be a journalist. This event.
Well, it's going to happen again, because on February 11th, we're going Murdaugh Part 2. Wednesday, February 11th at 9:30 a.m. You can tune in to the South Carolina Supreme Court and listen to 30 minutes of, I think it's first the prosecution, then the defense, and then the prosecution for another 15 minutes. So you got 30, 30, and 15. It's timed.
Wow.
Alex Murdaugh will not be there. It's just going to be a bunch of attorneys, the Supreme Court, and anybody else in the peanut gallery that wants to come along.
Are you going?
I'm going to go.
Good.
I'm going to go. I'm going to try to sit next to Eric Bland. Save a seat for me, Eric. Wouldn't that be great? The camera pans over. There's Eric and I, and he's like scowling at me, and I'm smiling. I might bring an extra couple of books along to see if he wants a copy of my signed book. Defending Alex Murdaugh, not guilty by reasonable doubt. Available on Amazon right now.
There you go.
Truly is. Well, we have had an enjoyable hour and Jesus, it's an hour and a half.
Wow.
And haven't had a commercial break. Anything you want to leave us? By the way, this episode is brought to you by Parker's convenience store, whatever it's called.
Yeah, if only. But good luck to them.
What is it called? Parker's
Kitchen.
This episode is brought to you by Parker's Kitchen. Come on in for a sandwich or a coffee. I'm just kidding, folks. It's not brought to you by Parker's Kitchen. Not brought
Just
to you in.
the cold hard truth. That's all.
It's brought to you by Crab Egg Cask. Hey, and this Levy, you started. Where are you now? You're going to write stories somewhere. I just saw. Where are you going to post?
Oh, I do post to Substack. Look for The Dive with Callie Lyons.
Substack. Yeah. Substack is good. There's another friend of mine that writes on Substack. That's a good place to write. You're free to also post anytime you want to on crimeandcast.com, the CC News Network.
Hey, I might do that.
We'll leave it there, everybody. Leave everything in the comments. I know you're going to have a ton of them, and you're going to have a ton of hate, and feel free. And you haters, you're still stupid. The people who follow me and love me, I love you back. Callie Lyons, go read your book. It's name of the book again?
Stain resistant, nonstick, waterproof, and lethal. But
Say
I'm
that.
rewriting it, so wait about 6 months. And
Say that 3 times fast. And I'll come out with the Stephen Smith book when we finalize that. I'm pretty sure close to a name, but we'll get that out. Stephen Smith book coming out. Crime and Cask. I always say Crime and Cask out. You know why I say Crime and Cask out? Because EB says it. He goes, EB out. EB out. He always goes, EB out. So I go, Crime and Cask out. See you. Bye.